Hey, it's Andre. It's time for another Friday flying update. Listen, if you see spring, let me know because I gotta talk to it. It's yeah, it's bad. Unfortunately, this is gonna be a really dry Friday flying update, and I apologize, but we're in another one of those weather watches, and you know, it's just craziness. What 10, 15, 20, 30, 40s. They don't quite know how much we're going to get, but they know we're going to get a whack load of snow and then we're going to get freezing rain. So they're telling us, you know, prepare for power outages and all this other craziness. So, and this is between Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So, who knows what's going to happen. If things work out, I'm thinking bushmeal, but they're also saying a lot of wind, you know, like 30, 40 kilometer gusts and so on. But if I get out, bushmeal, okay? We'll go flying with that, and I'll bring the Durafly Tomahawk with me as well. If that doesn't work out, I got plenty to do. And yes, the Hawk is on the bench. And the reason the Hawk's on the bench, because I do want to get through that. I want to program my radio, fix some stuff on the flaps, and install, as mentioned before, that upgrade kit that came in for the intakes from FreeWings / Motion RC. And while I'm in there, I am going to put some screening over top of the cheater intakes, since I do fly off a gravel track and there's the potential of ingesting stuff and blowing up the motor. I have been thinking about the Tomahawk, and more particularly how to set up the FPV system. And I know last time I mentioned that I was simply going to remove the XT60 connector, put a JST on there. And the more I thought about it, the more I said, that's just silly. What I want to do is take one of those Fat Shark plugs, you know, the multi-ports that come with all their transmitters, and use that and put a JST on it. And then that'll allow me to very easily switch from 3S balance to 4S balance for this aircraft, and or remove this and run it in another aircraft. So it kind of just adds a whole other element of flexibility that I like, because I'm trying to use up all my transmitters, my cameras, and everything before I look at any other new technology. Just because a lot of this stuff is sat waiting for projects, and I like to use it up. And it just, yeah, you add a little bit more bulk to the cargo bay and everything, but the functionality of being able to switch between 3S and 4S. And I know people have asked me before, why the balance port? I'm like, that's just how I started off when I got my Fat Sharks, right? And really, you're just looking for your voltage and your minimal amps, so you're not really drawing a lot out of that balance port. So unless you're using your balance port to meter your power, this is a really handy way to run your FPV. And of course, if I want to rip out the kit and go, I can. So other than that, I'm hoping to work on the wings this weekend. Top tip came from Sean of Defiant Wings, and he told me to use the flight coat or monocoat on it after I've done laminating it, just as a real quick way, and then I don't have to use rattle cans or spray anything. It's like, it's actually a really good idea. And then he says the real awesome part is if you get tired of that color, whoosh, peel it off, put on a new color, and go flying. So I'm like, I gotta go to the hobby store. Probably not this weekend, but if I do get into the whole wing building factory, if the weather's really bad and I get through a whole bunch of other tasks, I like to get them all set up, and I like to laminate all 4 of the wings together at once. I like plans, but you know me and plans, they don't always go. So, and I've got a lot of other things to do. For your cute eyes, you may have noticed the walls are painted. So I did that last weekend, and I got a lot more to do, but bye-bye that ugly brown shade. So I'll probably, after this update, I'll be grabbing my paintbrush and hitting one more wall with the dark color, and then the rest of the basement goes to that light color. I like it. It's actually punches up the lighting level a little bit in here. Yeah, it's a little blue in the tone, a little bluer than I thought it would be, but it's still a pretty good color. And from there, obviously, the 3D printer has to be rebalanced. I moved that into a new spot, and I got to put all the covers on the back and everything, but I got to re-level the bed. And then I got to get into the rebuilding the big Spitfire. So that will be really interesting. I've seen photos of that Corsair versus Spitfire sizing, and I'm like, wow, that's a big plane. One thing I want to try with the Spitfire is using the same glue we used on the wings to glue them together, a little contact cement. So I'm going to test that out. I got a lot of test pieces that I can actually, you know, join together. It's one of those things though where you've got to, it's, you know, set it up, let the glue get tacky for a half an hour, then put it together. So I'm going to experiment with that and see how that goes. If not, it's just going to be CA and kicker, and off we go. Speaking of things in the industry, this week we saw from Durafly the Tomahawk's big brother, the Sidewinder, and the Slowpoke, which looks really cool. So fingers crossed that we get to review that over here and have some fun. And if you were paying attention to Horizon, it was like they were listening to the podcast or something, the RC After Hours podcast, because all of a sudden here's photos of that e-flite twin EDF airliner, which looked really cool. So I just chuckled at the timing and everything. So yeah. There we go. I'm sorry it's not the most exciting Friday flying update. At least the plane hanging looks really awesome. I added some rails and made it look good, but hopefully after this pummeling, I'm going to call it, of weather, things will start improving and flying will start happening on a regular basis. The daylight is there. The temperature is trying, but the conditions in the field, it's just wet and dirty, but and just wrong to get out there. And obviously the winds and all that lovely temperatures this week coming up. So if you do get out flying, you're doing better than I am. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thank you for all the comments. Oh, and Andrew Newton, that Bushmule video, I'll put the tag into the description, is hilarious. I laughed so hard at work that people were looking at me. So, I'm Andre. Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for watching.